Good morning and welcome to the press conference of VIDA PERFECTA, Perfect Life, a TV series which is going to be premiered in the Velódromo, a complete series, 8 episodes. You can see a whole series in a big, enormous screen, such as is the one at the Velódromo, and it's a great occasion to do so. To talk to this film, we've got most of the cast and crew. Well, cast, the producers, Domingo Corral from Movistar Plus and Aurel Maimó from Corte y Confección de Películas. The scriptwriters, Manuel Burke, the co-scriptwriters. We've got Celia Fregerio, Aixa Villagran, Enrique Coquet, and to the director and actress and creator, shall we say, of the series, who is Leticia Dolera. We have a question that someone had asked for. Hi. Congratulations for the series. I would like to ask Leticia Dolera, as the creator, and with the scriptwriter wants to, he can also contribute. That feminine desire, because it's a series where women desire, they not only feel desired, but but that need of desire that the three women have in the series, well, the truth is sexuality and desire is something that involves us all, men and women, throughout our life. And these days I was surprised that what journalists were saying, we were surprised the portrait of feminine or sexuality. Well, it doesn't surprise me. I said, this is what I live through with my girlfriends, my friends, and this is what happens to me. And many more things happen that have not been able to fit into this TV series for the time being. And the truth is that the character of Esther, she lives her sexuality and a life in a completely hedonistic and free way. From outside, you could judge the way she lives and say that she's got a teenage way of living, but it's okay for her until she feels the social pressure of her environment, and then she wants to fit into another different pattern. And what was important for me also was that for her, homosexuality shouldn't be an issue of conflict or nothing dramatic in the series. We don't even mention and talk about it. We leave it to one side because homosexuality is just as natural as heterosexuality. So therefore, vis-a-vis Maria, she's pregnant in the series, but women who are pregnant also have sexual relations, and they also masturbate. Pregnant and non-pregnant women, and for me it was very beautiful to tell that story. That say, when a woman is a mother or when she's gestating, she is still in contact with her sexuality. And in the case of Chris, we can say that her sexuality, to reconnecting with her sexuality, forms part of a personal journey that allows her to reconnect with her desire and to reconnect with herself, with her desire in the sexual and life or vital side of things, so existential side of things. So she puts on the table certain issues that concern all of us as regards couples, how to manage monogamy, infidelity, what happens with couples that have got kids and that have been together for many years. This continues to be a taboo subject in our society, and I think it's a good idea to ask questions about this, because the series doesn't give you answers. It does address a lot of questions because I don't have the answers, but it's very freeing or cathartic, that is to say, to ask those questions vis-a-vis human relations and also as regards to sexuality. On my behalf, what I would like to say is that female sexuality or feminine sexuality is hidden in our society, at least in the current standard of things. And I had to open my ears to listen. I'd heard about this before because I've got a lot of friends of mine who are women. And Leticia, I made a great effort to position myself in the same point as her and to portray this. Leticia says that there's a standard of what is normal, quote unquote, in society, and we have tried to tell that it's not the only thing that exists, that there are other possibilities and other ways and other paths, and not everyone takes the general lane. There are people on the side roads and all of the in different areas, much more than what we believe. But we know people that see the series and feel identified because of all of these different paths that are taken from that main road. So therefore, that's where we placed our effort, and that's what we highlighted or tried to stress. Hi, good morning. Congratulations to all of you for the series. I think it's great. Enrique, I would like to know how you prepared yourself for the role, because this year you've got all of the roles to be a new actor. And how did you do it here in Perfect Life? With a lot of help from Leticia, and asking and getting to know without any complexes, without any paternalism or fear of asking questions as much as possible, and with respect. And then, above all, basing myself upon how to compose the character, something physical, for example, which is different from me, which helped me as a point of return in something. Well, I like to work a lot from trying to find almost cliche points which are easier to come back if you get lost, and then to find your way of doing it, and above all to try to find the truth behind the character, talking with Leticia a lot, and to see his fears, his truths, his ship, shall we say, and his framework, better said. And I enjoyed it very much. More or less, that's it. Going back to the question about Peppa's question, because now Enrique's talking, also in the series, well, we don't go into depth, we do show it because it was important for me, is for the people that have disabilities, also have desires, persons with disability, or touch themselves, they have sexual relations, and they also have kids, boys and girls. Hi, good morning. Welcome to the International Film Festival here in San Sebastian. I've got a couple of questions for both of you. One for the Leticia Dolera, the director, and the other one for Celia Frejedo. As regards Leticia, the director, you're a director and an actress with a public discourse which is feminist. It's quite clear. And at the same time, excuse me, perhaps I'm not expressing it clearly, you never give in to expressing a version of women which is courageous and sexy, the truth be said. And we saw that in Madrid when we saw you. How did you you came through like a whirlwind in Madrid. How do you transfer that feminist discourse and to transfer it and put it on the screen? As regards to Celia Frejedo, in Cannes series, you've won something with this series that you're presenting here at the festival. You come from the classic theater festival in Mérida, and you started to sing zarzuela, and you're basically on fire vis-a-vis yourself there. No, I was thinking, are you going to answer? No, well, hang on, let's see. In order to develop everything that I've learned over these years within the world of feminism, learning from colleagues and theorians and colleagues, I wrote a book which is Bite the Apple, Muerde la Manzana, and I deposited all of that knowledge that I acquired from other people, because we all come from the awakenings of others. And in the book, it is true that there was fiction of certain stories, and she chose them to carry out a political analysis and to look back with political sense to the experiences we women have. And all of that is in the book, and that's where I focused my activism quite clearly. In fact, in fiction, I feel more freedom, in the sense that I think that what I talk about is what's human. In this series, I've tried to ask myself questions that apparently are simple, but I think that they're quite complex as regards what it is to be alive and to mature and to find your place in the world and in life, and to understand what family and love and sex, a couple, success, failure, how we manage all of those expectations with which we grow in society and culture, and also in our own family inheritance, and how we inherit from our family, and those emotional tools also, how we use them throughout our life. And obviously, as I've done it, I'm a woman, my experiences and my point of view are in the series, obviously portrayed in the series. There is a genre, a gender perspective, especially with Christina's character, where there's a certain taboo at a social level of the mothers that are sick and tired of being mothers, and she said something that makes many women to feel blame. Sometimes I can't put up with my daughters, and I think it's very important to shed some light on these issues that we hide because we're afraid to confront them, or we're ashamed, or it makes us feel to blame. I think art, amongst other things, is there to shed some light upon all of those issues, not to give an answer, but at least to switch the lights on and say, look what we've got here, let's see what we do with it. And as regards whether the series is feminist or not, it's not up to me to say so. I would label it. It seems that feminism is used as a tool to something to throw at people to gain votes, or to. I'm a storyteller at the end of the day, and with this, I want all of us, men and women, to ask ourselves questions, look into our eyes, and to empathically link and build bridges to see how we can relate to each other, how we can incorporate our fears, our contradictions, our ghosts to human relations, so that these can be as healthy as possible. Hi, good morning. I'm very happy to be here. First of all, thank you to the San Sebastian International Festival for taking us in and allowing us to participate. This has been a big gift for me because it's not usual that you get a project in which you feel identified, where issues are addressed as a woman, as a human being, affect you, concern you. And what you've talked and reflected with your family, with women and girlfriends, it's not normal that the three feminine characters are women and they take the load and they're over 30 years old. It's not normally that way. We have got a crew that almost 70% are women. It's not normal that women take the burden and lead the role. Let's hope this series that there's a resistance. When a woman starts to talk about a project, we should listen to her carefully, because if without our part of the story, it would be incomplete. It was a gift to be able to portray a woman who represents me, and it's great that my girlfriends and my family can see the result of this work, because I feel very proud. In this series, we address many issues, many questions. I like it, and I think it's Leticia Manuel got it right. That says we don't give you an answer. They don't tell you what's correct. They don't select. It's not moralistic. It just builds bridges and puts the issues on the light to dark areas, because we lack references, we women. And it gives a hand to the audience and the spectators. Say, this is happening to all of us women, and we've got all of these interests and concerns. Does that happen to you as well? Can we hold our hands and walk together and to see what happens? With the leitmotif of this series of leaving your comfort zone and to do things that you don't dare, and to leave the life that you've got planned, to live the life that awaiting you. I accepted being a vedette at the Classic Theatre Festival in Mérida, very fearful and very humble. And for the first time, in front of 3,000 people, more or less, I danced and I sung, and it was a pleasure. I don't know whether I did it very well, but it was a pleasure for me. So therefore, I encourage you to go out, sisters, be free, courageous, and sovereign, and go out into the forest.
Bien, teníamos.
Okay, we've got a first question here. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Leticia, could you talk about, with your photographer in constructing the images of the series, could you talk a bit more about the construction of the script, how you built it, the structure and the dialogues, please? Well, as regards the plastic work, shall we say, on the one hand, it's like playing at home, because the art director, the costume designer, makeup, and DOP were the same people. I did requirements to be a normal person, so therefore, and also with Renio Maimon, who's over here, who also produced the film. I was looking forward to working with them again and to think about this plastic universe again. Requirements was a film, for example, which was most naive, which was much whiter, where everything was pure optimism. It was a tale, and plastically speaking, there were fixed, symmetric frames. There was much more depth as regards to the image. It wasn't too deep. It was flatter, because it went along with the tone of the tale. that I wanted to tell. Here I wanted to separate from this and to move the actors, move the camera in our hands like a hand cam, to tell that instability, that coming and going, this life, the way life treats you with choosing the selection of how the camera tries to get inside the characters, within the scenes, and to forget that flatness or plainness that I used in my previous film, and to tell metaphorically those shadows that entering into the ins and outs of those issues that we're trying to deal with in the series. Then this is accompanied by the work of the art director, costume and makeup, because this crew, we like to work as a team, that is to say, crew, a natural chromatic naturality with each costume, with each frame. And one of the references that we used for this camera style was a film. There's a Norwegian series which is Young and Promising, a Norwegian series, which is another reference, another mirror in which to look, because the creator is also, she's the screenplay writer and also an actress in the series. So, and that also makes me feel good. Well, the script work, rye, avocado and sesame seeds that he gave me at his house. Without that, we wouldn't have managed to write the script together and make it this far. And the construction of this series it's quite curious, because first of all, as soon as when I premiered Requirements, I thought about these characters and the lives of these characters. My intuition tells me that what's going in my head, it was a series format. It wasn't going to be a feature film, because I wanted to go into the emotional journey of each of the characters. And I wrote 4 sheets, and I go to Movie Star Plus, and with the 4 sheets, they still couldn't see it. They said, "We like it, but we don't understand." And I said, "Don't worry, I'll be back." So for a year, I was developing, because I'm a bit hard-headed at times, I wrote the pilot, and then I just developed, I said, I wrote this pilot which works, but now I've got to know where. Well, there's a complete series here, and there is a series of episodes and a structure. And so therefore I wrote the Bible, La Biblia, which was very difficult. And I went back to Movie Star. I said, "What you didn't see before, now you can read it." And that's where they said, yes. So I've asked permission to Domingo to tell this. It's all good. It's all okay. It's all kosher. We like each other. And also, the work with Movie Star has been very enriching. I'm not just saying this because the way we develop it. In the development department, there are people who give you the scripts and they give you their point of view, but they never tried for turn your point of view into their point of view. They know they're going to give you your series, not the series that they want to make, because otherwise it loses its personality. And the guidelines that they give you is that they addressed issues to Urko and me, and to make us put more effort into things. When Movie Star finally gave me the go-ahead, I got in touch with Manuel Gurke, and which I'd done a series of which I've read some scripts that he had written, and I was able to see the talent that he's got as a screenplay writer, because I saw a construction of characters and an intention of wanting to tell stories under the plot itself. So therefore, as you've got to have talented people alongside of you, that's one of the keys for success. Well, what's success? That's another question. Well, I got in touch with Manuel. I proposed it to him, and we spent 2 years working intensely, many conversations, a lot of research. We went to many sheltered people that have disabilities. We talked with people that had open relations. We talked to people had questioned their sexuality, with mothers and fathers that were disabled. We talked to a lot of friends, women friends who had been mothers, and then to be able to, or to feel able to, for the birth scene, I went to 2 births. One was a natural birth, and the other one was with an epidural injection, which were two experiences, humanly speaking, which were incredible, and allowed me to understand that universe, to be able to direct the gynecologists and everyone involved in the scene. And with Burke, I've got to say, my working with him, apart from it's been a beautiful and intensive work, I feel that I've grown beside him as a screenplay writer, because he comes from a place which much more school, much more technique. The truth is, when quite often we start to talk about the theory of a script, I come from a place which is, quote unquote, which is a bit freer. That doesn't mean that you don't have freedom when you're right, but it is working with him, apart from enjoying it and learning and stimulating myself with his ideas and talent, allows me to come to approach the script from a more theoretical standpoint, and this has enriched me much more as a screenplay writer. So we've become much more better friends. That it could have been, well, yes, well, we've become friends. Yeah, and it's been difficult, by the way, because we would call, if one of the two occurred something at 3 o'clock in the morning, we'd call each other without any problem. That happened for 2 years. It's worse than having a son or a daughter. I can say a couple of things, because alluding to what you said, there are a couple of things that are very important. Is that we made an effort to making a TV series. How, with all the good that brings along with it, there are a lot of twists, and it hooks you, and you enjoy it, and you want to go to all the way through the last episode. We wanted to do a TV series, not a movie in different parts. And secondly, the gender vision that the series has doesn't prevent everyone feeling identified with it. Why? Because it's painful what happens, and it draws us, it causes, there are two philosophies that are confronting each other. One is the philosophy that life that you planned, do it yourself, or the philosophy that stop pursuing it, you're not going to achieve it, you've got things beside you that you're missing on the way. That's the leitmotif of the series, and this is painful because we've all gone by that, on that way. We're in a life that we don't want, that we planned, or we don't make it to the life that we wanted to, and we're desperate to achieve it, or we're lost, and we're not able to see what we've got just around us. Because at the end of the day, live the present, live the moment, which is, I know it's an absurd way of saying, it's very simplistic, but that's it, the story. That who hasn't ever felt pain because one's lost, because one hasn't made it to where, as far as one wanted to, or anguish. Leticia and I have felt this quite often, and we've tried to put it into the series, and because we believe that happens to a lot of people in our surrounding area, not only from 30 to 40 years of age, but also 40 to 50, 50 to 60. Everyone's got their own part of pain because they're not where they want to be. So what we're saying is stop. Where you are isn't a bad place to be. That's basically what I wanted to add. And it's a comedy, by the way. Having said all this, I'm not too sure whether Oriol and Domingo would like to add something. No. Just Leticia said, I think she said it. She says it much better than I can say, which is the point of view for us in Movie Star. We don't want to use our point of view, because otherwise all the series would be homogeneous, and it would be a formula, and it was what we call industry. No, we are all on the contrary. We're trying to accompany people who've got talent like Leticia, and also it's got to be quite clear that we would shine if they shine. So therefore, the way she's told it, I think it's a marvelous experience making this series. We're very proud, we're very happy, and we want you to be able to see it in the Velódromo and to premiere it in Movie Star on the 18th of October. So all well and good, a great experience. There's another question. Hi, good morning. Congratulations. But this series is very interesting because of the men you chose. We're in a moment of this new masculinity, and we've discovered men have discovered Brad Pitt is sensitive, which is great. You forget to know. Why have you chosen these men, the men in your series of A Perfect Life? Because they're good looking, they're handsome. Thank you. I was thinking about that, because if I say it, it might be controversial. It might be controversial, but if you say it, that's okay. Well, the portrait of men is a portrait which is human with different layers, and who also ask themselves questions. And what I think is very interesting is that the women, the main actresses in the series, main characters, Chris and Maria especially, go through changes. And when you change and you modify things, that modifies and changes who you've got in front of you. So therefore, I think it's great to see how that change that women are experiencing, and we're asking ourselves questions, and we're seeing our options in life. That changes also changes the person in front of you. So therefore, the person in front of you, it's either he or she resists or accepts it and transforms as well, or otherwise we don't evolve. I like saying that what you resist persists, and what you accept is transforms. So therefore, there are different masculinities. There's a man with a disability who's a father, and we shows it with his light side and shady side, empowering him, obviously, Enrique says, without sounding paternalistic. And he's got the fears that any man who's going to be a father may have, added to the fact that he's got a disability. But it continues to be an extra problem, obviously. The character of Manuel Burke, for example, is a guy who's got a social commitment and activism throughout the entire series. And then when we address issues as regards to the relationship that he has with Maria, they're so treated from sensitivity, very sensitive way, and respect. The men that surround me, for example, are like that. These are men who talk about feelings that the things that affect them, and they are just like us, looking for their place in the world. We've got time for one final question if one wants to ask, or if no one wants to ask. I would, just to finish, excuse me, I would like to say something, if you'll allow me. Yes, of course. I'm here sitting down because I'm the creator of the series, but I didn't direct all the episodes. There are another two women directors who have directed two episodes, Elena Martin and Gina Steinal, who are sitting in the front row there. And the work with them has been marvelous, that is to say. I wanted the series to be a platform for women directors, new or almost new, because some women were asked for experience, were not only valued for our potential. So therefore I see Julia East, which is a great film that I recommend to all of you. What platform is it on? On Movie Star as well. Oh, that's marvelous. Great. It's on Movie Star. Well, that's great. It's a film which is marvelous about personal transformation. I seen that film and I loved it. I got in touch with Elena and then Gina Star. I had talked to the crew to find a young woman director, and she had done a lot of public advertising, and she studied cinema direction in Las Gasques, and she thought that we could get in touch with. There was a clear intentionality in the way she directed her advertising of telling a story, even if it was in 30 seconds, and working with the actors. So I got together with them, I read the scripts, and I saw that we were focusing upon the same thing. It was great that they felt represented, identified with what happens to the protagonists. And we also saw the work, directing work, we saw it from the same perspective, focusing upon the characters and to allow the characters to be known. It was great work because we managed to balance between the fact they were in a project which had a marked direction, but they felt that each episode belonged to them, and it was a place where they could develop themselves as women directors. If I admire the work and I call them, it's so that they can grow and put their art into what they're going to make and direct. And it was great for the series because the series also grew with the incorporation of their point of view in their episodes and globally in all of the talks that we had with them. So they're not here, but they're in the series, okay? And they're in front of us. And I would like to add, before we've talked about the Khan, we've got Isa, who hasn't said too much. It'll be very interesting for her to say. I'm a bit shy, because in Cannes you won an award, you won a prize. You talk about Cannes. Well, when Letty called me up to say well, we were going to the Cannes Film Festival, I said, well, I was blocked, and I thought I was a bit of a shock. I didn't know how to manage this. I thought, wow, and my brain almost was anesthetized. And we went there, and a lot of beautiful things started to happen, and at the hand of these two people that we've become very good friends, and these experiences are very beautiful. Living them not from here, but from the three of us, the trio. But when we got there at Cannes, it was already a gift, and it's not false modesty. But we didn't think we were going to win anything, but the fact just being there was incredible. And we're 10 series, we were competing with another 9, and we thought it was very difficult, internationally speaking, to win something. And also we got there, we projected the series, we saw the audience freaked out. They stood up, there was an ovation. I couldn't believe it, they couldn't believe it, we almost died. We started to go out to parties, drink champagne, and then we started to listen that the Belgian series and ours was the ones that they liked the most. I thought, holy hell, we might win a prize, not two, but best script or best whatever. Maybe they might invent a prize as a special jury prize. What a speech. And they said, and I was holding back, and I was going, yeah, what a speech. And I was containing all of this before talking, and perhaps I'm going over the top, but at end of the day, in short, before the closing ceremony, we spent 5 days there, but they wait us for 5 days just in case we win the award, or the 2 awards or prizes. So they were in Letty's room, because I didn't know what was going on. Letty was the realistic and put us down to earth. We're not going to win, girls, we're not going to win otherwise. And the witch from Galicia said, let's ask for a wish. We're going to go win both prizes. We're going to make it. We're going to, of course, we asked for a wish the night before at the hotel. We looked at the stars, and Letty said, I think the most incredible thing that could happen to us, that's not going to happen, is that they give us the prize to the best series, and to ex aequo the actors' role. We looked at the stars, we held our hands, and we went to the next day all dressed up. And in the photo call, we entered into Palais, and then all of a sudden, when we're all sitting down, instead of walking up to the stage, it was incredible to get the both award prize. I'm going to start to cry. God, I hope not. I felt the camera who was on my knees beside me. There's a camera person sitting on his knees beside us. We're going to receive the award. He said, shut up, shut up, shut up. There are cameras everywhere. Don't. No, shut up, shut up. Don't say anything. And all of a sudden, I couldn't enjoy with my headphones on because they didn't work. So I didn't know what was being said. I didn't know what was happening because I don't speak any French. And more or less, I understood a bit of French. There was the prize to the best actor. And the prize to the best actor, all of a sudden, is for Leticia Dolera. And I thought, I get up on my feet, I applaud, there's a great ovation in the audience, people get on their feet, and all of a sudden I say, Celia Figueira and Axia Villagrán. And I go, what? What? I get on my feet, I stop what happened? I stopped the people in the corridor. All of a sudden, she gets excited as if she'd won the prize. It couldn't have given the prize to them and not to me. I said, something's happening, incredible is happening here. So I stopped the car and said, what's that? Get up here. We've given her a prize. That's what I said, literally. Go up there because you'll be getting to receive a prize. And we're given the prize, special jury's prize. A very weird monster, which was on stage. We come back down, we relax. And when we relax, the prize to the best series is given. And we get the prize to the best series, and we go back up there again, and we pick up the prize, receive the prize, and we broke the prize, I think, didn't we? Nobody knew that because we got so excited. Sorry, shit. Oh, sorry, Domingo, can't I tell this? No. I'm not used to talking. To be yourself, talk to an audience at a press conference, be yourself, and I probably said something that I shouldn't have said, but we've got Loctite, so sorry, whatever. We'll stick it together again. We'll glue it together. We've got 2 prizes, one that's stuck together and the other one's not stuck together. I'm very, very happy, and that's it. Thank you very much for letting me talk a little while.
Bueno, pues
Well, okay. And we want to wish you all the best luck in the world when you present the film this afternoon and when it's premiered in Movie Star. Thank you very much for having come along.